Okay, welcome to Jump Math. This is grade 6, book 2. We're on page 102. In this one, we're looking at area of shapes made from rectangles. So what does it look like when we have all these shapes that we can cut up into different rectangles? So it says, for one, calculate the area of each polygon. Draw a line to show how polygon C can be divided into rectangles A and B. Well, the area of A happens to be 8 units. The area of B happens to be 4. And if I cut this C right here, you can see that this side is A and this side is B. So this must be 12, and it's 8 and 4 added together. What if I did part 3 here for you? So let's look at A again here. A has 4 units. B has 12 units in here if you count them all up. All right. And C, it says to cut it so it looks like A and B. So A would be here and B would be here. And so C is going to have 16 units. So the one down here says, how can you get the area of C from the areas of A and B? Well, I can go A plus B as far as the areas are concerned. So the area of A plus the area of B equals the area of C. So question 2 is telling you to, well, take what you've learned, take that information, and let's calculate some areas by chopping up these rectangles or these shapes into rectangle or square shapes. Okay? So to start with, I'm going to do A for you. And where could we cut it? We could cut it one of two places. We could cut it right here, and that would produce rectangles, 2 of them, or I could cut it right here and do the same thing. Both would get me the answer, but I'm just going to do it like this. Okay? So I'm going to call this one 1 and this one 2. So what is the length times the width for 1? It would be 3 times 4, so it happens to be 12. Well, 12 what? You need to include units, please. 12 millimeters squared. How about for rectangle number 2? What are my length and width? Well, 8 is the full length down there, and width is there, 4. 8 times 4 happens to be 32. Again, knowing your times tables, very important basic math skill to know. Now that I know the area of 1 and the area of 2, I simply add them together. 12 plus 32 happens to be 44, and again, keep your units, millimeters squared. Okay, go ahead and try B and C, and let's move on. So question 3 is saying that we can kind of figure things out by looking at measurements on these shapes that are made up of rectangles. So 3A says a building is 8 stories high. The wing is 5 stories high. How many stories high is the tower? So from this, if this is 8 and this is 5, then we should be able to figure this. How do we figure that out? We go 8, take away 5. We know that I have to add 3 to 5 to get to 8. So use what you know about this length over here being this length plus this length, right? And then you'd be able to figure it out. So it happens to be 3 stories high, okay? Again, use the same principle for B and see if you can find out the missing pieces of information. So sometimes you'll be asked to do that. I'm going to do B for you, so you guys can do A. So in this case, this is an unknown. So what do I add together to get this length on the bottom? I'd have to add this one and this one. So I know this is going to be 7 centimeters. Okay. What's this height going to be? Well, this is 6. On this side is 6. And I'm going to have to take away this to find out that. So this is going to be 3 centimeters. So I'm going to change colors to cut this up. I'm going to cut across here again. And this is shape 1, or rectangle 1, okay? And this is rectangle 2 for me. So for rectangle 1, I'm going to go 3 times 3 to find out the area. 3 times 3 is 9 9 what? Centimeters squared. And the area of 2 is going to be 3 times 7, which is 21 centimeters squared. The total area is adding those two together, 9 plus 21, 30 centimeters squared. All right. The rest of this is just using that idea and figuring it out. Question 5 does throw in a little bit of a wrench for you. It tells you that this little length right here is 60 centimeters. So you have to keep track of that, counting each of these as 60, right? So how long is this on this side of A? Well, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300. So this length is 300 centimeters, just this side of it. Okay, so use that concept of each of those blocks as 60 centimeters to then find the area and the perimeter. So be very careful, that's going to be a bit challenging. They've done the same thing down here. They've defined what one little chunk is 0.5 kilometers. So see if you can figure that out. All right, I hope that helps. Thanks.